What is up? Welcome to part two of the day in the life of basically capturing everything that goes into a hog hunt. So, do me a favor if you aren't already subscribed, do that. It'll help me out. Otherwise, let's go. My weapon of choice out here for hog hunting is this LWRC. It's a 6.8 A5, so it's chambered in 6.8 special. I've got a Trigicon Reap IR thermal, which is pretty much the top of the heap as far as I'm concerned. But I think the thing that is important to me, like there's a lot of thermals out there that have a lot more bells and whistles and, picture in picture and recording and all that shit, right? But this is an all metal unit. And I need stuff that's tough. I need stuff that can be dropped. I'm not bragging when I say that I've ran over this. I've ran over this whole gun before, and it's not intentional. But I'll often have this thing propped up on the passenger seat with the strap wrapped around the headrest, and you hit a big enough bump and that whole thing can come flying out. And I try to grab it, but shit happens, right? So I ain't got time to be replacing shit, especially stuff that's damn near $8,000. What you might find is interesting here is I've also got a whole nother upper here, and this is an absolutely identical upper. And this one has a Night Force 2.5, 2.5 by 10 optic on it. And this is really what I'll use for deer hunting. It's a good optic. It's not a super bright optic, but that's really what it's designed for. If I wanted super bright, I'd have an optic with a 50 millimeter objective, right? But it's light, it's easy to carry around, and again, I don't hunt anything out here without a suppressor. Every gun I have, for the most part, has a Q cherry bomb on it, and I run Q Trash Panda suppressors. So let's get out there. One thing I need to elaborate on is I did it in the video, but I had some audio problems, so I couldn't use the footage. But some people are probably going to say, why are you putting corn out when there's already a feeder that's dispersing corn? And it's a really good question. And the reason being there is, yeah, the feeders run, but I generally am pretty stingy with that corn, with how much corn I disperse. I mean, I'll usually keep it to where the run times are between 4 and 6 seconds, at least when it's not deer season. So when I'm going out there and putting corn and I'm mixing it with Texas hog bait and I'm dumping it kind of around the feeder, the whole purpose to that is to keep them there longer. Because again, it doesn't do me any good if they show up at 8:40 and I don't make my way over to that feeder till 9 and they're already gone. So the whole purpose is to spread it out, make it not just in one pile where they can just sit there and wolf it all down, but to kind of pour it in line, spread it out so they have to work for it a little bit. We're about ready to head to the blind right now. It's like 6:20. So we're going to be switching over to the GoPro, and let's see. I feel pretty good. I think it's smart to stay back away. We're going to stay back about 80 yards from that feeder. Where we're hunting at is kind of down in a valley, so wind isn't as big of an issue as if we were hunting like right out here in the open, but it's always an issue, especially when we're hunting these big old mature boars.
It sounds more like a raccoon or a skunk. It's a fucking armadillo. Okay. We're good. Into the blind. Unfortunately, we really made a lot of noise getting in here because I forgot I had taken the chair out. And so anyway, it's a long story, so I had to get the chair and sneak it back in here. But we're here, so we'll see. Hopefully we didn't make too much noise. So we got a pig down. Let's go and see if we can find it. It didn't sound like it ran very far. It actually came pretty close to the blind. This fucking thing is hurt. It's dead. Oh, it's right up here. Gotta be careful though, it could still jump up. Fucking thing is camoed pretty good, man. Okay, there it is. Oh, it's still up there a little further. Alright, so hopefully y'all can see this. It's right up here. See its eye. Gotta be ready for anything, because this fucking thing could jump up, man. No, it's a little one. Alright, so hopefully y'all can see this. Looks like it's a little boar. Alright, he's definitely out now. And that, gentlemen, is what it is all about right there. Pretty small one, not that big. He's definitely out. I'm telling you, these things are so fucking tough, though.
So what's happening, just a little update here. We killed 2 boars so far tonight. One really big one, I haven't found him yet. I haven't looked too hard either. And then one medium-sized one. And that's the one we got on video. I walked up to him after he was, when he was dying, so we got him on video. We'll find that other one in the morning. I think it's a lot bigger boar. But the night is still young. Let's kill some more of these fucking things. What is up? So it's Friday morning. So what happened last night is I hunted until about, I don't know, I think it was about 12:30, 1 o'clock. And so early on in the evening, it was basically right at dusk, had a big giant boar come out. Well, what was really interesting is it really never went to the feeder. It kind of came out on one side of the feeder and kind of ran and scurried behind the feeder. And I'm thinking, well, he smelled me, he's out. And then I heard brush stirring, and he came again very close to the blind, but he was kind of bolting right in front of me, probably about, I don't know, 60 yards in front of the actual blind and probably 40 yards in front of the feeder. So I got a pretty clean shot, and he jolted and then took off. And I don't think he's very far out there. I looked last night, but when you get in those woods at night, it's really hard to find them when you're in the really thick woods. It's a lot easier if they're making all kinds of noise, obviously. But that one basically just took off and was out. So I probably made a pretty good shot. Either that or I missed him completely, which, look, if you're a hog hunter, strange shit happens. But I'm pretty positive. Usually when they really jolt and kind of act hurt for a second and then take off, you got them. But we'll go see. So then the second one, I was in the blind. I sat there for a while. I got out and looked for that big boar because I wanted to get that on film with the GoPro. And then I got back in the blind thinking, we're not going to stay here very long because I probably made enough noise coming in and out of here that, we can circle back to this area later tonight, but let's not waste a lot of time here. So I stayed there, I don't know, about 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and I took all my stuff to get ready to get out of there. I climbed down the ladder, and I just heard something over there by the feeder, and I looked through the thermal, and there was a much smaller boar up there. And again, it wasn't, they knew their awareness was telling them that there was something off, because he wasn't just up there eating corn calm. He was kind of walking around and kind of investigating. They could have even had a whiff of me from when I was there baiting the side or from when I was there checking the SD cards. Anyway, it was very similar to the other boar. It kind of walked around behind the feeder, and then if it wasn't the same path that the other boar took, it was damn close, and it come walking by. But this time again, I was out of the blind, so it was even a closer shot. But he never stopped, so I knew he was moving. So when that happens, I'll usually try to double tap him. Just give myself a little more wiggle room on those shots. So. And I could tell that he was certainly hit. He kind of but again, these things are tough, man. These are tough animals, and he jumped up, and I could tell he was down probably 40 yards into those woods, and it was making a pretty good ruckus in there. And so I had the GoPro, and I went in there, and I couldn't see him through the thermal. And you really got to be really fucking careful, man, when you're dealing with a hog like that that's injured, because I have had one that is just flat out, you think it's dead, and that fucking thing will jump up and come at you. Or so you always have to be prepared. I'm never gonna make the assumption that that hog isn't gonna have the capability to jump up. So I'm proceeding very cautiously through these woods, and this is thick woods. You're gonna, the footage, you'll see it today. We're about ready to go out there, but it's thick fucking woods here, man. And so if that thing does jump up, there's really not a lot of place for me to go. It's not like being in a big open area where I can turn around and haul ass. I mean, you're on animal paths, there's limbs and stuff everywhere, so you got to be careful. So I did walk up on him. I found him through the thermal, walked up, and he was out. He was checking out. But again, no one likes suffering, and he was kind of convulsing a little bit, and he was trying to get up. So I shot him one more time in the head, and he was out. And so we'll go look at him. He's a medium-sized boar. The other interesting thing. So then I went to another area, and I was hunting, and the wind was not in my favor. So I should have really circled around, but I had the wind to my back, blowing right towards where the feeder is. Not good, right? As I'm standing there about 50 yards from the feeder, three whitetail come walking out, and they knew that. Again, they did not go to the feeder. They were probably 15 yards from the feeder, but they came walking by. They all stood there, and they hung out there for about 5 minutes. And I've been saying this for years. A hog's sense of smell is superior to a whitetail in every way. A hog, especially a big old freaking boar, man, would never do that. Would never do that. I can't tell you how many times I've been somewhere and I've seen a boar stick his head out, get a smell, and turn around and haul ass as fast as he can. And these three whitetail, where the wind is blowing, they're getting perfect smell of me. The scent of me is going right at them, and they just walk out and take their time and mosey on. It would never happen with a hog. Again, especially a big old boar or a big old sow. So anyway, let's go find these things. This is the blind that I was actually hunting in last night. And that hog should be right down here. So here we go. This is actually the second one we killed, and it's actually a little bigger than I thought it was. I mean, just for reference, it's not a bad size boar. I mean, I'd say it's probably 140, 150 pound-ish, somewhere in there. But anyway, that's victim number 2. So let's go find the real big one. I think it's a lot bigger. This is the feeder right here that we baited up last night, where we poured all that liquid Texas hog bait with the corn, and you can see it is gone. So what that means is they came after we left last night.